My yander wife, to avoid divorce, took advantage of my deep sleep to inject a needle into my arm, then used a handkerchief laced with chloroform to knock me out. When I woke up, I was already locked in the basement, and she was sitting on top of me. Her smile was both twisted and obsessively adoring. I was so frustrated that tears welled up right there. If you're so tough, let me go, and we'll fight it out for 300 rounds. This yandere wife of mine every day personally brews a perfect tonic soup for me. I was tormented beyond endurance. But when I finally found a hard-won chance to escape, I was caught and dragged back by her. She caressed my face, smiling as she gave me the good news. I'm pregnant. If you run again, I'll break your legs. Evelyn Rose, my sham wife. Sham wife, my ass. 3 years, exactly 3 years. The red circle on the calendar finally reached the last day. I let out a long sigh of relief. The feeling of that massive boulder weighing on my heart could finally be lifted. Over these 3 years, I helped her fend off family pressure to marry, like swatting away flies, helping her block those so-called young and talented guys clinging to her. She paid, I worked. A fair deal. Thanks to that money, my company started doing pretty well. Though the scale wasn't huge, it was still my own business after all. Now that white moonlight guy she always mentioned, Keith Baxter, had triumphantly returned home. Scrolling online, I saw a photo of their chance encounter. Evelyn Rose smiling brightly, like a spring breeze. The affection thick between them. A stand-in like me, it was time to bow out. When printing the divorce papers, I deliberately bolded the line leaving with nothing. This guy doesn't care for a single penny from the Rose family. These 3 years, the villa was hers. The luxury cars were hers. I, Ethan Hayes, never once thought of being greedy for anything. Humming a tune, I neatly tucked the divorce papers into my briefcase. Tonight would be the moment to lay it all out. Ethan, you can finally start over as yourself, I said to my reflection in the mirror. The villa's living room. Evelyn Rose was sitting on the sofa, elegantly sipping red wine. When she saw me enter, she didn't even bother lifting an eyelid. Rose, there's something we need to talk about. I placed the divorce papers on the coffee table in front of her. The 3-year term is up. This is the divorce agreement. Take a look. If there's no issue, sign it. As for assets, I'm taking nothing. I tried to keep my tone calm, even with a hint of relief, like shedding a burden. Only then did she set down her glass, leisurely picking up those sheets of paper. I figured she'd nod or say something polite. Who knew? In the next second, rip, the divorce papers in her hand instantly turned into shreds, fluttering everywhere. My pupils shook. Evelyn Rose, what do you mean by this? In all my life, my patience had never been tested like this. The endurance I'd built over 3 years nearly exploded right then. She stood up. A smile curved her lips that I couldn't fathom. Cold, yet laced with mockery. Ethan, I've said it before, the end is up to me. That gaze no longer held the distant air of an arrogant CEO. It clearly carried a streak of obsession, making chills run down my spine. The contract clearly stated 3 years from the start. Are you going back on your word now? My chest heaved with rage. Has this woman's brain been flooded? Her white moonlight is back. So why keep a third wheel like me around? The rules are set by me, she said nonchalantly, her tone full of dominance, allowing no resistance. Now, I don't want a divorce anymore. I pointed at her, speechless, for half a day. I've seen unreasonable people, but never anyone this unreasonable. What the hell is this? Crossing the bridge and burning it isn't even this cruel. Treating me like a monkey on a string? Anger surged to my head. But I knew with her in this state, arguing further would get nowhere. Fine. You won't sign, huh? I sneered coldly. This rundown place? I'm done staying here. With that, I turned and headed straight upstairs. to pack my meager luggage. I thought moving out would calm her down, put some pressure on her. Looking back now, I was truly naive to the extreme. Evelyn Rose just stood there in the living room, silently, watching my back as I went upstairs, saying nothing. Only that gaze, like two iron hooks latching onto me. When I dragged my suitcase downstairs, ready to slam the door and leave, she finally spoke leisurely. Ethan, the world out there is dangerous. You'll regret it. Her voice wasn't loud, but it pierced my ear like a needle. I didn't even turn my head, decisively leaving the house I'd lived in for 3 years. It was just that my heart suddenly shivered. This woman was way too off today. An ominous premonition began to shroud my mind. But at the time, I just thought she was having a fit of spoiled heiress syndrome, utterly unreasonable. Evelyn Rose refusing to sign the divorce left me feeling like a rock was blocking my chest. The more I thought, the angrier I got. After moving out of the Villa Rai, I checked into a hotel for the time being, pondering how to get through to Evelyn Rose's thick skull. When an uninvited guest arrived. Keith Baxter. How did he know I was here? It must have been Evelyn Rose who told him. He looked pretty sharp, in a custom-tailored, expensive suit, hair slicked back without a strand out of place. Only his face was a bit pale and sickly. Ethan. He eyed me up and down, his gaze like looking at filthy trash. I hear Rose won't divorce you. That superior tone in his voice was about to overflow. What's it got to do with you? I snapped back irritably. Fair point. He smirked, the fakest smile ever. After all, a skirt chaser like you. Once Rose gets bored and kicks you out, it's only natural. My temples throbbed. Is this punk here just to piss me off? But don't worry. He stepped forward, lowering his voice, full of boastfulness. Rose will come back to me sooner or later. We're the perfect match, made in heaven. As for you, be smart and get lost to spare the trouble. The pent-up frustration of 3 years, plus this idiot's provocation, exploded instantly. I landed a punch right on his pretty boy face. Whack! Keith Baxter probably didn't expect me to swing. He was dazed from the hit, staggering back several steps. His nose started bleeding. You dare hit me? He clutched his nose, incredulous. So what if I hit you? I followed with a kick, sending him tumbling forward, like a boiled shrimp. Gave you some face and you think you're hot shit? Daring to show up and strut in front of me? Beat him! I'd wanted to thrash him for ages. Over 3 years, Evelyn Rose kept nagging about this white moonlight guy, making me feel like a pitiful backup. Now this backup was settling it with force. I grabbed his collar and yanked him up. Master Keith, listen up. The issue between me and Evelyn Rose isn't that I won't leave. Go ask her yourself. If you keep yapping every time I see you, I'll beat you once. Knocking his gold-rimmed glasses flying. Keith Baxter was scared into collapsing. His 2 bodyguards moved to rush in, but one glare from me and they backed off, not daring to move. This guy was probably just good at living the high life, but worthless otherwise. In the end, he crawled and rolled away, not forgetting to throw back. You just wait. I'm waiting, all right. I thought that was the end of it. Little did I know, 2 days later, that punk Keith Baxter really wouldn't cry until he saw the coffin. He rounded up some blonde thugs, tattooed all over, bottom-tier scum, surrounding the base of my company building. Kid, you're the one who beat our Master Keith? The blonde leader, cigarette in mouth, brandishing a baseball bat pointed at my face. I burst out laughing right then. This bunch wasn't even enough for a warm-up. Quick as lightning, the thugs all ended up sprawled on the ground, crying for their parents. Keith Baxter, hiding not far away, his face drained of blood at the sight. I advanced toward him, step by step. He turned to run in terror. Too late, though. I gave him another thorough beating. This time even harder. He'd probably be bedridden for half a month, no joke. From then on, whenever Keith Baxter saw me, it was like a mouse spotting a cat, always detouring. That fearful look, unmistakable. Once at a party, spotting me from afar. The wine glass in his hand crashed to the floor. Then he bolted, neck craned, running for his life. I'd truly given him psychological trauma. A classic waste of space. I thought to myself, for Evelyn Rose's sake, at least nominally, I'd turned her white moonlight into this mess. She should give me some face and sign the divorce papers. So I went to find her again, reasoning every which way, begging in all sorts. Evelyn Rose, consider this my plea. Let me go, okay? That dream lover of yours, I beat him into a pulp. So why keep me around? She just stared at me, not saying a word, stubborn as a mule. She was driving me insane. Just when I was about to despair, things took a sudden turn. At a business event, we were invited as an exemplary couple. Event over, shedding the facade. I brought up divorce again. Evelyn Rose, what do you really want? Give me a straight answer. She was silent for a long time, so long I thought she'd ignore me again. Finally, she drawled, fine, I'll sign. I was stunned then, suspecting I'd misheard. What did you say? I said I'll sign the divorce papers. She repeated, her face expressionless. My heart skipped a beat, followed by overwhelming joy. Heaven has eyes. These 3 years were finally ending. But before I could celebrate long, I noticed her gaze on me. How to put it? A bit strange. Like a deep lake with no bottom, hiding things I couldn't see through, and carrying a spark of excitement. Evelyn Rose suddenly agreeing to sign the divorce made my mind explode. I couldn't believe my ears. I'd endured enough over 3 years. Her fine, I'll sign, was like the sound of heaven to me. But then she shifted tone, a cryptic smile on her lips. Before signing, let's have a meal. Call it a farewell dinner. Farewell dinner? Sure. Eat away, as long as she signs. Not just one meal. I'd indulge in a royal banquet. I even thoughtly to myself, maybe this woman finally awoke her conscience, wanting a peaceful end. Dinner was served in the villa's dining room. Long table, exquisite candelabras, and dishes I particularly loved. Evelyn Rose was unusually quiet today, even gentle, you could say. She poured wine for me, softly asking about the company's recent status. That tone wasn't like the polite, distant one from when we first met. This gentleness today made me a bit uneasy, but then the joy of impending freedom clouded my judgment. I didn't think much, just saw it as calm before the storm. Or her final courtesy. After the meal, she set down her utensils. Come on, to my study. I'll get a pen. Do you have the divorce papers? Or are they with me? I've got them here. I hurriedly pulled the divorce agreement from my bag, full of my hopes. Her study wasn't my first time visiting, but today, the air felt laced with an indescribable scent. She walked behind the desk and sat, taking the papers and pen I handed. My heart raced, eyes fixed unblinkingly on her hand. She lowered her eyes, long lashes under the light, casting a faint shadow. Finally, she put pen to paper, signing Evelyn Rose decisively. In that moment, I felt the 3-year weight on my heart finally lifted. She pushed the signed agreement toward me. Ethan, you're free now. Her voice so light. I reached for the papers, fingers nearly touching. Right then disaster struck. Evelyn Rose's other hand flashed, pulling something from the drawer. A glint of light. It was a syringe. My pupils contracted. A chill raced from toes to scalp. I tried to dodge, to fight back, But it was all too fast. Her movements crisp, not like a pampered heiress at all, more like a trained agent. The cold needle, without hesitation, plunged into my right arm. I winced in pain, instinctively trying to shake it off, but her other hand locked me tight, strength terrifyingly strong. She injected the drug fully without mercy. Intense dizziness assaulted my brain, arm going numb, then my whole body limp, strengthless. "What did you inject me with?" I gritted my teeth, eyelids heavy. She didn't answer, just pulled a white handkerchief from her pocket. The cloth carried a strangely sweet scent. She clamped it over my nose and mouth. I struggled, let go, but strength ebbed like a tide, vision blurring, everything spinning. Damn it, I actually let my guard down. I actually believed she'd let me go easily. The last image in my eyes was Evelyn Rose's face, close up. Her lips curved in a demonic, twisted smile. Beautiful eyes arched like crescents. But inside swirled thick, terrifying possession. "Ethan." Her voice, like a devil's whisper, echoed in my ear. "From the day we signed that 3-year contract, I've wanted to do this. I even want to lock you in the basement. My private basement, chained, so you're mine alone." Before sinking fully into darkness, I seemed to hear her satisfied laugh. That laugh like honey, mixed with poison, making me shudder. What kind of lunatic had I gotten tangled with? I don't know how much time passed. I woke again. Woken by a lingering scent. No, not woken. I felt myself in a dark basement room, limbs locked by something. Heavy, iron chains. My whole body spread-eagled and chained to a bed. And Evelyn Rose, she was right beside me, in a silk nightgown, hair cascading. Over her shoulders, her breath hot. "Husband, you're awake?" Her voice so light, so soft, like a feather, teasing my nerves. But in that voice lurked satisfaction and madness that raised goosebumps. I tried to speak, but found my throat parched. "Shh." She touched my lips lightly with her finger. "Husband, don't you remember anything? It's okay, but leaving me is not allowed." She lifted her head, beautiful eyes in the dim space, gleaming with enchanting light. "We have so much to do. Like closing a $100 million deal. Another stretch of work time, unclear how long." When I regained consciousness and woke, a soft female voice, with a lazy chuckle, rose from above my head. That sound made me jolt my head up. Evelyn Rose. She was lounging beside the bed, still in that familiar silk nightgown, holding a glass of red wine, gently swirling it. The deep red liquid flashed eerie lights in the dark. She now, completely unlike her usual cold CEO image, like a whole different person. In those beautiful eyes shone a light, almost feverish, one I'd never seen. She leaned close to me, warm breath on my face, carrying faint wine and her signature perfume. "Ethan." Her voice so light, so soft, like lovers' whispers. "Actually, from the day we signed that 3-year contract." She paused, lips curving in a demonic twisted smile. That smile gave me chills. "I've wanted to do this." My pupils shrank. "You're insane, Evelyn Rose. Let me go," I roared. But from the drug's lingering effect, my voice turned hoarse and weak, as if she hadn't heard my roar. She continued smugly, beautiful eyes arched like crescents. "Inside, swirling terrifying possession. I even want to lock you in the basement. A basement only I can enter." Her finger lightly traced my cheek, the cold touch making me shiver. "Chain you up, mine alone." Insane. This woman is completely insane. "Husband, it's fine. You'll get used to it soon," she whispered gently, like coaxing a clueless child. "But leaving me is not allowed." A dangerous glint flashed in her eyes, but then she just smiled. that smile full of a victor's mad certainty. Then, she set down the glass. "No, don't." I struggled with all my might, chains clanking loudly. But that damn drug hadn't worn off. I had no strength at all. I couldn't move. Only watch helplessly as she did whatever. Body instincts awakening. And I could only be forced to enjoy the work. So frustrating. I'm a strong, broad-shouldered man, yet treated this way by a woman. Regretful tears uncontrollably rolled down my cheeks. This autopilot mode is easy, pleasurable, but where does that leave my dignity? Tied to the bed, shedding tears of humiliation and regret. Throughout the process, she always gazed at me with adoring, feverish eyes, like savoring her most cherished, one-of-a-kind toy. She's a certified lunatic, a yandere with explosive possessiveness. How on earth did I offend this freak? The days that followed, I fully understood what living hell means. Evelyn Rose, that madwoman, came down on schedule every day, calling it a visit, but really draining my value. I felt at this rate, I'd soon be crippled by her torment. More punctual than clocking in at work. What frustrated and humiliated me most was being force-fed. At first, I desperately struggled, lips sealed. Even starving, she didn't get mad, just gently looked with that sick smile. "Husband, how can you skip meals? No food. Where will you get energy for exercise tonight?" Damn it. In the end, I submitted. Before hunger and her dominance, my scant pride shattered everywhere. Besides force-feeding meals, there was that damn perfect tonic soup too. I swear, in my life, I've never heard of such an absurd soup. Stuff like cinnamorium, morinda root, rehmannia, goji berries, dogwood fruit, polygonum, cordyceps, eucamia dortidae, desilwani, iroshill, wandiu waxate tronia. And what? Dog penis, bull penis, horse penis, deer penis, even tiger penis. Where did this woman pull this recipe from? Some ancient myth book? A big bowl daily. Pitch black, stench, assaulting the nose. "Husband, this is the tonic I brewed myself for you." She held the bowl, smiling so demurely. Tonic, my ass. I wanted to puke. So she pinched my jaw, forcing it all down. Bitter liquid sliding down my throat. Feeling like my organs were protesting. My body did get stronger day by day, but the fake strong after being drained dry. Most shameful was, under the herbs and endless daily torment, my body gradually started, even sometimes feeling a twisted enjoyment. I despised myself, but the mental torture like a blunt knife, slicing, deepening daily. Each day I endured this so-called bliss and endless torment. Evelyn Rose, outside business time, sometimes acted like a normal woman. Hugging me, she pillowed her head on my chest, breathing evenly. "Ethan, you smell so good. You're mine alone. Got it? Never leave me forever." Her voice so light, so soft, like a fine hair, but the words held undeniable control desire, chilling my spine. I'd tried resisting once, using all my strength to yank those damn chains. Clanging echoed in the quiet basement, piercingly loud. The result? Besides wrists and ankles rubbed raw red, utterly useless. Evelyn Rose, seeing my wounds. Her eyes darkened further. "Husband, you've been naughty." And then came harsher punishments. Gradually, I gave up the futile struggles. I started calming down, silently observing her, watching her every move, watching this damn basement. I was seeking opportunities, any slightest chance to escape. Once, she seemed in an especially good mood. After finishing, she actually unlocked one hand. "Husband, eat by yourself today." She placed the bowl on the nightstand, then just watched me. That sudden bit of freedom made my heart race wildly. Hope sparked like a tiny flame in my chest. I slowly used my free hand to pick up chopsticks, clumsily picking food. So delicious. Too bad the hope was short-lived. Next meal, she locked me back personally. Better if I feed you, dear husband. I prefer it this way. That tiny flame doused instantly by cold water. Days passed. This sunless basement became my cage. And Evelyn rose. Was the beautiful, mad female warden, holding the key. Today was a bit different. Evelyn rose as usual, came to this dark basement, still in that luxurious silk nightgown, air filled with the familiar scent, making my mind foggy. She began the routine work I'd been forced to humiliatingly adapt to. But what chilled my spine most was her expression. No longer simple, possessive satisfaction, but an extremely bizarre look. Eyes dreamy, like immersed in some ultimate fantastical dream. She suddenly leaned down, hot lips close to my ear, voice with a trembling whisper. Ethan, do you know? Even if you don't remember, it's fine. But 3 years ago, I couldn't live without you. 3 years ago. Those words, like lightning, shattered my jumbled thoughts. 3 years ago, wasn't that when we signed that damn contract? Back then, she looked at me like bargaining merchandise, eyes full of cold scrutiny. How could she? Those fists swung for me, she continued, voice with sick adoration, beating those who wanted to bully me to a pulp. Ethan, that's the man I want. My whole body stiffened. What was she saying? Beating people? Keith Baxter counts for what? She suddenly sneered, tone of unhidden, extreme disdain. A waste. One look and you see he's weak as slime. No different from a sissy. Before I must have been blind. How could I like that type? A con artist. Coming to me only for money and status. Really thought I didn't know. Wooing me without any restraint. As she spoke, seeming to lean closer, I could only rigidly endure. Her eyes feverishly terrifying, like finally claiming her life's treasure. Only you deserve to be my man. My mind tangled into knots. Those sick declarations chilled me to the bone. But what scared me more was the next line. This time I finally have you completely. And before having you, I got to witness the plot I anticipated most. She laughed, the sound echoing in the quiet basement, eerily strange. 3 years, Ethan, do you know how long I've endured? That waste Keith Baxter wasn't totally useless. As soon as he returned, I knew right away I'd get to see your heroic form. When you beat someone for me, Ethan, do you know? You right in front of me, beating Keith Baxter to a pulp like a dead dog for me. Did you know how thrilled and delighted I felt then? Boom! My brain like bombed. So, Keith Baxter, coming to trouble me repeatedly, wasn't coincidence. It was me like a fool, jumping right into the pit she dug. She like a lofty director, and I just the pitiful lead actor in her script, the one performing those aesthetic, violent scenes. But the most regrettable was that kick of yours. She showed a face full of regret. That kick nearly killed him. I could only rewatch your majestic form via surveillance camera. I really couldn't hold back. I looked at her yandere expression, a mix of adoration and madness. Chill surging from spine to brain. After nearly 2 hours of torment, I closed my eyes tight, no strength even to move a finger. A bit later, seeming rested enough, she propped up to sit, seeming to chain me back as usual, before leaving. But, as she stood, her face suddenly changed. She abruptly covered her mouth, brows furrowed tight, looking about to vomit. Next second, she hurriedly jumped off the bed, not looking back, dashing toward the basement door, high heels clacking on the floor, fading away, until the iron door slammed shut with a bang. The whole basement fell into deadly silence again. I lay on the bed panting, body utterly exhausted. Only after a long while did I slowly realize she was gone. And earlier in peak excitement, she'd unlocked my hands. After finishing, seeming due to that sudden discomfort, she forgot to relock me. I slowly lifted my hand, the cold iron chain on my wrist, hanging loose. Unlocked. She forgot. She really forgot to relock me. A jolt, shot from tailbone to scalp bite. Opportunity. This is my only chance. I dared not move, holding breath, listening outside, fearing her sudden return. Time ticked by second. No sound at all. I braced against the fatigue, after being drained, forcing rest to recover strength. Each second pure torment. About 2 hours later, feeling some energy back, I slowly sat up, bit by bit, then started dealing with the damn chains on my feet. These were sturdier than the hand ones. I rummaged the room, found a metal rod, dropped when she changed the bulb before, diligently prying the lock, sweat streaming into eyes, stinging and burning. Another 2 hours passed. A soft click sounded. The foot chains finally came off. Free. I staggered up, rushing to the iron door out of this hell, but hope shattered by reality again. Door still locked. An advanced electronic type I'd never seen. I turned back to the room, flipped everything usable as tools, prying hard at that door. Useless. The door like fused to the wall, unmoving. In despair, I groped and found a hard plastic piece peeled from something. Size about a bank card. Don't movies show it like this? Slide the card in the crack and jiggle to open, though it seemed ridiculous. Now it was dead horse as live doctor. I inserted the plastic into the lock gap, tirelessly back and forth, once, twice. To the 100th, arms sore like breaking, thirsty and hungry, throat burning like fire. Just as I was about to give up and lie waiting for death on the bed, a tiny click from the lock. My whole body shook. Opened. I'm a genius. I grabbed the handle, mustering all strength to pull inward hard. Door opened, but just a small crack. A force from outside quickly pushed it back. What the? Before I could react, that damn white handkerchief again. The familiar, sweet scent instantly enveloped my nose and mouth, not even seeing the face clearly. My consciousness sank into endless darkness again. As I fell, I dropped into a familiar embrace, laced with demonic scent. It was Evelyn Rose. Consciousness like being yanked from a thick swamp. In the dark, the familiar scent making me shudder, assaulted my nose again. Before opening eyes, I sensed something wrong. The weight on my limbs, several times heavier than before. I snapped my eyes open. In dim light, what hit me was cold iron chains wrapping wrists and ankles. These chains, a full size thicker than before, with fresh scratches, like two black venomous snakes, coiling tight, unrelenting. And Evelyn Rose sprawled on me, like a lazy cat, head on my chest, fingers lightly tracing my face. Seeing me awake, she lifted her head. In those beautiful eyes, the dangerously familiar smile. Husband, you've been naughty. Voice gentle, soft, but like ice needles stabbing my ears. Still planning to sneak away, her fingertip traced my lips. With a chill. What? Can't even a beauty like me hold your feet? What's so great about the outside world? You must remember, it's dangerous out there. She leaned close, warm breath on my face, emphasizing each word. Only I treat you the best. I clenched my teeth, chest heaving fiercely, but couldn't utter a word. The humiliation of failure and deep despair, like a massive wave drowning me. She emphasized each word. Only I am the best to you. I clenched my teeth, chest heaving fiercely, but couldn't utter a word. The humiliation of failure and deep despair, like a massive wave drowning me. She seemed very pleased with my reaction now, smile deepening at her lips. Just stay here, with me and the child. The words the child like an awkward thunder, exploding. In my head. My whole body went still, staring intently at her, thinking I'd misheard. What did you say? My voice hoarse, sounding strained. A child. On Evelyn Rose's face, the dangerous, twisted look suddenly vanished, replaced by an innocent expression full of anticipation, like a child who'd done something good, waiting for adult praise. She nodded vigorously, eyes shining bright. Yes, a child. Your child. She even used a boastful tone to answer me seriously. This is the result of our efforts over the past half-month. After saying that, the innocence vanished. She reverted to the lunatic with dark eyes and explosive possessiveness. She narrowed her eyes dangerously. This seamless expression shift sent chills through me, my mind in chaos, forcing myself to cling to the last shred of reason, to ask incredulously, confirmed at the hospital? What else? She smugly raised an eyebrow, looking like a victorious peacock. Just confirmed. I was heading back to tell you this good news right away. Who knew? Opening the door and find it. Her eyes instantly turned cold, her hand gripping my chin harder, finding some heartless man, actually trying to sneak out, planning to abandon me and the child. Her words left me speechless. My heart felt squeezed by an invisible hand, heavily dragging down. A child? She's pregnant. This fact was even heavier than the thick iron chains on my wrists. It crushed my last hope of escape. I composed myself, forcing calm. Now, with a child, escaping would be harder than reaching the sky. I closed my eyes, no longer looking at that beautiful yet mad face. My mind started spinning thoughts, tangled like threads. Evelyn Rose's earlier words kept repeating in my mind. 3 years ago. 3 years ago she couldn't live without me. 3 years ago, I fought for her. After long thought, a faint forgotten memory from a hidden corner began to slowly emerge. Just graduated from university. I majored in finance. No background, no connections. Graduation meant unemployment. My decent degree was worthless in harsh reality. For survival, I found a part-time waiter job at a bar. 3 years ago, wasn't that right after graduation? When I was dirt poor, I tried rummaging through memory trash to find a clue. Finally, a scene, both ragged and full of hot blood, was dragged out from the dusty corner. Back then, fresh graduate, finance major, but no support, no network. Graduation equals unemployment was spot on. To make ends meet, I got a part-time waiter gig at a lively bar. That night, the bar was noisy as usual. I carried trays weaving through the crowd. Then, spotted that scene in a dim corner. 6 or 7 thugs with dyed hair, surrounding a girl, spewing filthy words, hands groping. The girl seemed drunk, cheeks flushed, eyes hazy, body limp like boneless, only weakly resisting. Then, blood rushed to my head. No time to think consequences. Fresh grad, still a hot-blooded fool. How could I stand such outrage? I set down the tray, charged without a word, blocking to protect the girl behind me. What are you doing? Bullying a girl. What's so great about that? The thugs paused briefly, then sneered immediately, encircling me. What followed was a brawl. They outnumbered me. Right from the start I took hits, lip stinging. But I refused to back down. Set on hero, saves beauty. Couldn't die midway. That'd be embarrassing. Rage surged from within. adrenaline spiking. I fought, red-eyed, ignoring defense. Pure trade wounds for life. Going all out against them. You punch me, I endure to kick back. That desperate look truly scared them witless. Finally, the thugs cursed loudly and fled. I wasn't much better. Face bruised, clothes torn. Instinctively, I turned my face slightly, not wanting the girl behind to see my pathetic state. Do good without seeking reward. Mainly because my appearance was too embarrassing. I didn't even dare look back, just limped away. The outcome predictable. That day I got fired from the bar. Unemployed again. About half a month later, I got a weird phone call. Then, after that, signed that damn divorce agreement with Evelyn Rose. Marriage agreement. Thinking here, my whole body shuddered. Time, place, cause, result. All clues, in this moment, strung together. It wasn't coincidence at all. She targeted me from the start. I snapped my eyes open, staring at Evelyn Rose sprawled on me. Voice hoarse from sheer horror. That girl at the bar, was it you? Evelyn Rose slowly lifted her head. In those beautiful eyes flashed triumph of a succeeded plot. Her lips curved in a sick, satisfied smile. Husband, seems you've remembered. Her finger lightly touched my lips, tone with cold excitement. But remembering means you can't escape even more. My heart sank. Escape? Now, nowhere to run. Direct confrontation I'd tried. Result? Swapped for thicker chains. She even dared drug and imprison. I had no doubt. Next time, if angered, she'd really break my legs. Moreover, now the child, she's pregnant, whether the baby is mine or not. With her current obsessive madness, she'd surely use the child as the final chain to bind me. If the baby really is mine, legally and emotionally, in this life, no clean break for us. I must stay calm. Hard way failed, only soft way left. A real man bends and stretches. For now, preserve myself. Then, plan later. I closed my eyes, then opened again. The horror and anger in my gaze. The shock and fury forcibly suppressed. I forced a smile, seeming helpless, yet accepting fate, trying to keep my tone as relaxed as possible. If I can't escape, then I won't. I looked at her, pretending to shrug indifferently. A man's gotta take responsibility for his actions. So I'll stay with you and the child. I'm not planning to run anymore. Evelyn Rose narrowed her eyes. Like a cat, sizing up prey. Those beautiful eyes full of suspicion. She came closer, scrutinizing my face, seeming to seek any lie trace. Still not fully believing, she drawled. Cold fingertip, tracing my throat, giving me goosebumps. But best if what you say is true. Her voice suddenly cold, with unhidden threat. If there's a next time, I'll break both your legs. So you stay here forever. Forever. My heart tightened, but outwardly kept the surrender expression. She seemed very pleased with my compliant look. After the threats, her dominance suddenly vanished. She sprawled back on my chest, like a obedient little cat. Burying her face in my neck, she murmured softly, "You know, I'm the one who loves you most. I don't want to hurt you, but no choice. Who told you to disobey? Who told you to run? Who told you to abandon me and the child?" Her voice grew smaller, hoarse, with fatigue. Talking and talking. Her breathing evened and slowed. She actually fell asleep in my arms. I stiffened, not daring to move, feeling her warm breath, smelling that familiar demonic scent, but my brain coldly alert. That sleep, I too dozed off unknowing. Next morning, I woke in quiet space, arms empty, Evelyn Rose gone. Instinctively I moved my wrist slightly, but no familiar chain clank. I sat up immediately, Looked down. Wrists. Ankles bare? Nothing there. Those heavy iron chains actually unlocked. My heart skipped. A mix of joy and unease surged. Is she testing me? With uneasy mind, barefoot off the bed, first time standing on my own feet, in the basement. That imprisoned me half a month. Step by step, toward that heavy iron door. Heart pounding like drums. I pushed lightly, door actually ajar. Outside, stairs up. I followed stairs upward. Pushed another door at hallway end. Before me a very familiar scene. Evelyn Rose's study. The huge rosewood bookshelf. Expensive leather sofa. And faint ink scent in the air. I froze on the spot. This secret chamber. The hell that held me so long. Actually hidden right behind the bookshelf in her office. This house I'd lived in for 3 years. This study I'd entered countless times. Yet, never knew it hid such a room. When did she start preparing? Just thinking chilled me. Right then. Study door pushed open from outside. Evelyn Rose entered. In comfortable home clothes. Face with gentle smile. Looking no different from a normal wife. She naturally approached. Took my hand. Warmth through skin. But I felt no warmth at all. Hungry? She looked up at me. Eyes arched beautifully like crescents. Let's eat. I started learning to play the perfect 24 filial husband. For that tiny life in her belly, unsure if Cheney or Bond. And for my legs, still temporarily intact. I handed most company work to a reliable deputy. Myself suddenly a full-fledged house husband. Evelyn Rose's tastes became bizarrely picky when pregnant. Today craving sour. Tomorrow demanding spicy. Daily I racked brains varying dishes for her. Searching all prenatal recipes online. From pregnancy safe dishes to brain-boosting ones, fearing inadequate care. Husband. Today I want sweet and sour fish. The most authentic flavor. Okay. I tied an apron. Stepped into the kitchen bigger than Mal. My company office. Started prepping the Seabase airship in. She sat on a chair in the dining room. Chin in hand. Smiling eyes, following my busy back. That gaze, gentle as water. As if I truly was the husband she adored. Not a prisoner just released from hell. Early pregnancy, she had severe morning sickness. Each morning, I prepared soda and lemon slices, then drove her to work, waited to see her enter that iconic office building, then handled my own affairs. Afternoons I often finished early, drove to her company, sometimes just sat in her CEO office, helped review non-critical files, so she could leave early to rest. Subordinates looks at me, from initial surprise, now habitual, even with some admiration. They probably thought their arrogant cold CEO Rose finally had her heart warmed by me, the elite son-in-law. Only I knew behind this affection was suffocating madness. Rose grew increasingly dependent on me, or rather, clung inseparably, like a little girl. Wherever I went, she followed. I reviewed files. She pulled a small chair to sit beside. I cooked. She stood behind, hugging my waist tight. That sick, suffocating possessiveness seemed diluted by pregnancy hormones, turning into a petite woman's coquetry. A few times, looking at her peaceful sleeping face, I even had fleeting illusions. Maybe she really changed. Maybe we could live like this. We started resembling a real couple. Weekends she dragged me to the mall. Before colorful shelves, excitedly picked 2 matching cartoon pajamas. One big bad wolf, one little Red Riding Hood. She held them to me. Husband, look, doesn't it suit us? Her eyes smiled into slits. I looked in the mirror at myself, in big bad wolf, with helpless face, lips twitching. Sure does, your little red. Always with a frying pan in hand. She didn't get mad. Instead leaned her head on my shoulder, laughing, even happier. Hand in hand like that. Like any normal couple. To the cinema, for a bland romance. Street snacks, sharing grilled squid skewer. She sipped my milk tea. I ate her half-bitten takoyaki. That sweetness terrifyingly real. I was enjoying this rare warmth, but my nerves never dared relax a moment. That night, we lay reading in bed. She leaned into me, suddenly grabbed my hand, pressed to her slightly bulging belly. Feel anything? She asked softly. I was about to ask what, when under my palm came a very gentle vibration, like a tiny fish, lightly swishing tail, blowing a bubble. My whole body stiffened. Is this fetal movement? I looked down at Evelyn Rose. She too looking up at me. In those beautiful eyes, I sensed an unseen light, mix of maternal glow and expectation. That moment, in my heart, surged complex, indescribable emotions. For this tiny life about to arrive, I wasn't without some stir. That gentle kick, like tapping straight to my heart, making me truly feel a life sharing my blood. But this connection also like a new chain, binding me in place. Days passed in that calm yet bizarre atmosphere. Day by day, until one day a partner from my company visited. The person in charge there was a very capable officewoman. We finished business in the meeting room, then chatted more in the hallway. She smiled, handing me a business card, saying we could exchange more in future. I accepted politely, turned, and saw Evelyn Rose, standing not far away unnoticed. She just stood silently, face with usual smile, but eyes glued to the card. In my hand, gaze without warmth. Air seemed to freeze instantly. That female partner sensed the off atmosphere, awkward smile, then made an excuse to leave hastily. Only then Evelyn Rose slowly approached me. She came before me, no anger, no questions, just extended, slender finger, gently took the card from my hand, then right in front of me, with utmost elegance, tore the card into tiniest shreds. She looked up, leaned to my ear, in a voice just for us, whispered like a lover. Husband, lately you've been so obedient, making me almost forget that the little dark room is actually still quite spacious. Since that card incident, her words, the little dark room is actually still quite spacious, like a haunting sound, echoed in my ears for days. I became obedient, more than ever. She seemed very pleased with my compliance, no longer mentioning it. Days flowed in that eerie peace, so fast that Evelyn Rose's belly swelled round like a ball. Due date arrived in a blink. At the hospital, outside delivery room, I paced like a headless fly in the hallway. The bright red surgery light, like a worldly eye, staring till my heart panicked. My mind now a mess, with anticipation for the tiny life arriving, worry for the madwoman in delivery, and mostly fog about my own future. Delivery door suddenly opened. A nurse stepped out. I rushed over immediately, throat choked bitter. Nurse, how's my wife? The nurse removed her mask, revealing tired face, but joyful smile. Congratulations. Mother and child, safe. The 4 words, mother and child, safe like a warm stream, instantly dispelling all worries and unease. I sighed, long in relief, feeling my legs go weak. When I held from the nurse that tiny being, red and wrinkled, my heart, like hit by something powerful. She's so small, eyes tightly shut, tiny mouth smacking instinctively. I gave her the nickname Little Luna. Looking at her, all calculations, guards and fears seemed to melt away. It was a feeling I'd never experienced. the most primal touch of blood ties. During Evelyn Rose's confinement, I fully became a super diaper dad, changing diapers, mixing formula, burping, soothing sleep, from initial clumsiness to proficiency. Busy feet never touching ground. Evelyn Rose mostly leaned on the headboard, silently watching my busy figure for our daughter. The madness and possessiveness in her eyes lessened much, replaced by a gentleness and satisfaction I'd never seen. That gaze made me illusion multiple times, thinking we truly were a deeply loving couple like others. After little Luna's full month, Evelyn Rose took me and baby to her parents. Her parents already knew of me. Attitude toward me not bad before. Now, with granddaughter, even more enthusiastic, a bit overwhelming. At in-laws, I maximized my son-in-law cultivation, actively helped mother-in-law in kitchen, sat on balcony playing chess and discussing news with father-in-law, making the elders beam endlessly. All survival skills I'd honed over years. After dinner, father-in-law called me to study, patted my shoulder, then sincerely said, "Little Ethan, our Rose has been spoiled by us since small. Temper a bit quirky. Be more tolerant of her hereafter." Mother-in-law beside echoed, "Yes, yes, if she does wrong, indulge her." I listen, phase with flawless standard smile, but inwardly chuckle. Not just spoil. Your daughter is full-on yandere, the type who'd lock her husband in basement and chain with iron. But my mouth said sincerely, "Parents, rest assured, I find Rose's personality suits me well. We're a match made in heaven." After returning from in-laws, I fully became a daughter fanatic. Whenever free, I'd hold little Luna, teasing her to laugh, singing off-key nursery rhymes. Seeing her babbling, my heart melted. That evening, I was holding daughter, lightly kissing her pink cheeks. Evelyn Rose hugged me from behind, chin on my shoulder, tone with pretend pout and jealousy. Now your eyes only for daughter." Ignoring me, I smiled, turning around, hugging both her and little Luna tight. "What?" I lowered head, kissing her forehead. "Both mother and daughter are my heart's treasures." She contentedly nuzzled my chest, then looked up, beautiful eyes arched like crescents. She gazed at me, eyes with familiar gentleness, but next words made my heart jump. "Husband, seeing you like little Luna so much, I really want to give you a surprise. One you'll definitely love." Since daughter was born, my world, all formula, diapers and her babbling laughs. Holding her, like holding world's softest treasure, willingly sinking deep, about to become a true daughter-obsessed dad. That day, I was busily changing little Luna's diaper, her tiny feet kicking wildly at my hands. Evelyn Rose approached from behind, mysteriously whispering in my ear, "Husband, take you to see this gift." Her breath, sweet. I didn't turn, still focused on task. Busy now, no time. "This gift, you'll definitely like." Definitely vent anger. She wouldn't give up. Arms around my waist from behind, starting to coquettish. "And I like it too. Come with me, come with me." She rubbed her head on my back, no different from a clinging cat. I knew once she decided, I had no way to refuse. Under her persistent coquetry, I finally compromised. I held daughter in passenger seat, buckled seatbelt, little Luna sleeping soundly in my arms. Evelyn Rose started the car. In such good mood, she hummed. Scenery outside window receded fast. I looked at daughter's peaceful sleep, but, in heart, Rose, an indescribable bad omen. Boxing gym, where she took me, was this kind of place, full of sweat and hormone smells. Just entering, leather mixed with disinfectant. Assaulted the nose. Not far, dull thump-thump of fists on bags. With coach's hoarse shouts. Evelyn Rose familiarly led me deep inside. Stopped before an isolated boxing ring. On the ring, a familiar figure. Keith Baxter. He wore shorts and boxing tank, red gloves, but looked nothing like a fierce fighter. Instead, like a terrified rabbit. The moment he saw me, his legs clearly shook. It was bone-deep fear. Impossible to hide. Familiar face, huh? Evelyn Rose took sleeping little Luna from my arms. Smile radiant, yet demonic. She swayed daughter in arms. Chin toward Keith Baxter. Said in leisurely tone, but extremely cruel, "Look, you get to beat him again. Remember to go hard." I had to spend a big order to invite him as your sparring partner. So, counts as a surprise? Surprise? I only felt a chill, racing from soles to scalp. I looked at her, then at shaking Keith Baxter on the ring, inwardly, speechless. So lately, I've been too obedient, making her bored, wanting to watch me fight again. Under Evelyn Rose's urgings, I resignedly removed jacket, staff, handed me black boxing gloves. I leisurely put them on and stepped into the ring. Keith Baxter opposite saw me enter, face instantly pale bloodless, eyes full of pleading and fear, like facing a beast about to tear him apart. I didn't even bother with stance, just swung casual punches, fists with wind, but basically no force. Yet Keith Baxter, like scared soulless, just token block, got hit on cheek by me. His whole body fell back, fainted on spot. Coach beside ring, stared stunned. I stood in ring, looked down at Evelyn Rose, holding daughter, watching with utmost delight, feeling utterly ridiculous and tragic. She gently rocked little Luna, watching the absurd ring drama, while in extremely gentle voice, speaking to daughter, wrapped in diaper, teaching by action. Little Luna, remember, grow up like your dad. Be a strong, tough woman. Her voice paused, eyes glancing my way, lips in familiar sick smile. But don't cling to dad like this. If you dare, mom will be jealous. She lowered head, close to daughter's ear, in dreamy tone, uttering words, freezing my blood. If so, then your dad can only go sit in the little dark room again. Little dark room, not a past nightmare, but a Damocles sword always hanging over my head. I tossed boxing gloves to ground, stepped down ring, face forced into proper husband smile. I called to the beautiful mother-daughter far off. "Wife, let's go home." Voice not loud, but echoed clear in noisy gym. Home to cook. Make your favorite braised sea bass oil, and mix formula for little treasure too.